Welcome to our bite-sized webinar on IR35 in the private sector. My name is Jeff Fawcett. I'm a UK Director for Hayes Talent Solutions, and I'm joined by Martin Atkinson, Group Head of Tax.
Thanks, Jeff. I'd like to start by giving a quick technical update on the off-payroll reform in the private sector. Of course, the changes to the IR35 legislation across both the public and private sectors were aimed at tackling perceived tax avoidance from interposing a personal service company, or PSC, to masking what in reality HMRC argue is in fact an employee and employer relationship. Historically, the onus has been on the worker to determine whether he or she falls inside or outside of IR35, which makes it difficult for HMRC to police. But HMRC believe that only 10% of people who are within IR35 are complying with the rules, and they think this costs the government around £1 billion a year. Reform to the IR35 legislation was introduced in April 2017 to the public sector, and crucially, it placed the responsibility of deciding whether a contractor is inside or outside IR35 onto the engager. Consultation into introducing similar changes in the private sector started in the summer of 2018 and will be enforced from April 2020 for medium and large-sized organisations. There are a number of key issues that private sector organisations will face in the run-up to April 2020, and if these issues are not adequately addressed, a series of consequent risks. To start, you will of course have to undertake the necessary due diligence on your personal service company or PSC contract workers. This means asking yourself, do you know who all of your contractors working via PSCs are? They could be working in multiple different departments, so how will you gather this data? You will then need to make a determination for all PSC contractors and ascertain whether they are inside or outside the scope of IR35. And this includes those paid via agencies and consultancies. This will be resource intensive and require input from people in different departments, HR, procurement, legal, and frontline business teams working with the individuals. Furthermore, if HMRC think you have made an incorrect determination, you may need to make good on these. Finally, as well as IR35, there is also the Criminal Finances Act of 2017. So if someone else in your labour supply chain criminally evades tax, in some circumstances, you could be liable to fines and reputational damage. If these issues are not handled, you risk increased costs. However, whilst cost is the most oft talked about concern, it's not the only one. Organisations should also be mindful of how many contract workers will react to these changes. It goes without saying that business relationships with your contractors are hugely important, and for those in scope, it could be unsettling change to how they are used to working. If you are not communicating with them in a timely, effective and accurate manner, you risk losing great talent to other organisations who are better prepared, which could put key projects at risk, and you may find yourself struggling to attract new workers to replace them. However, we see changes to IR35 in the private sector as an opportunity for many organisations to get their house in order, secure better return on investment on an expensive resource, lower their overall contractor costs, and ultimately become a destination of choice for top contracting talent, therefore securing a strong competitive advantage.
As you can see from some of the quotes on this screen, this year we haven't always heard the most encouraging statements from many private sector organisations who will be impacted by changes to off-payroll reform. Some consider the issue to be low priority, others think it'll be easily dealt with in the first quarter of 2020. Many were keen to pass the buck of responsibility, saying that it's something for their HR function to fix, or even something that can be fully owned and resolved by just one person in their organisation. So what should you be doing now to prepare for IR35? Well, you have three options. The first option, to simply do nothing, is not an option. If you do nothing, you'll find yourself in breach of your legislative requirements. The second option is to create your solution to IR35 internally. This will require you to create an internal function to mitigate the risks of changes to IR35, including all the systems and processes you need to manage it, both for the short and long term. Finally, you can engage an external partner, one who will ideally provide you with the people, power, process, plan and technology you need to implement the required changes and support on an ongoing basis. If you do partner with an expert, here is why you should choose Hayes. We have a comprehensive solution to audit your contractor and interim workforce, so you mitigate the burden and exposure to risk and costs due to incorrect determinations and potential liabilities. We also have a robust IR35 assessment process, so you don't have to rely on a binary web-based tool like CEST, as the tax status of your contingent workforce is determined by tax assessment experts. Our market-leading testing model will help you to retain access to top talent and avoid any disruption to your business by carrying out accurate assessments for even the most complex of cases. We have proven track record successfully working with almost 122,000 contractors annually and hundreds of public sector organisations on IR35 over the last 2 years. For further information and insights, visit our dedicated IR35 site at hayes.co.uk/IR35, where you can find more webinars, read our latest thought leadership blogs, and download our white papers and more.